Good morning, students. So last class we discussed about growth, digestion, and respiration. Okay. So today we discuss about circulation and excretion. Okay, let us see circulation. Okay, students. So last class we discussed about growth, digestion, so and what is the meaning of life process. Okay. Then what is the meaning of nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಇದೊಂದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ. ಸೊ ಲೈಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. So what is the meaning of life process? The process which together perform the maintenance job are called life process. Okay. So first, to maintain these life process, organisms require energy. So that energy from outside the body of the organisms to the inside is called nutrition. Then to break down food, organisms needs oxygen, that is called respiration, and movement of food and oxygen requires a system that is called transportation, and byproduct of energy generation must be removed, that is called excretion. ಇಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಸು ನಾವು ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So nutrition and respiration definition is also very important. So ಇದು ಸಹ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. What is the meaning of nutrition? The process of transferring source of energy from outside the body of the organisms to the inside, that is called nutrition. And respiration, the process of acquiring oxygen to use it in the process of breakdown of food sources for cellular needs is called respiration. All parts of the body need food and oxygen. They must be removed around the body. This situation creates a need for a transportation system. Okay. Excretion, process of removal of waste products created during energy generation using oxygen and food is called excretion. So nutrition actually explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ರೀಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. So there is two types of nutrition. One is the autotrophic, another one heterotrophic. Example, autotrophic, they prepare own food. Example, green plants and algae. Heterotropics, animals, fungi. Okay, in autotrophic nutrition, the photosynthesis process is very important. In that reaction is also very important. Then so the following events occur during this process. In that chlorophyll, in the chlorophyll there is a stomata. The stomata function is very important. In the stomata there is a cells that is called guard cells, that is also very important. Okay. Next, heterotrophic nutrition, in that there is different types of process. One is the halozoic. Example, amoeba, animals. So what is the meaning of halozoic? Animals take in solid food and break down inside the body, that is called halozoic. Saprophytic, example, fungi or mushroom. Organisms feed on dead and decaying materials, that means they already prepare food. Okay, so ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಕೇಯ್ಡ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಇದೇನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟಿಕ್, ಲೀವ್ ಆನ್ ಅದರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, so how do organisms obtain their food? Example, in lower organisms, amoeba. So process, pseudophodia, it is an organ of the amoeba. What happens? First it capture the food and take in food vacuole and digestion of food and diffusion of simple substance in cytoplasm. Undigested food removed from the body, it move out of cell membrane. Okay, then nutrition in human beings. So this is the mouth part, intake of whole food. So in the mouth part there is a teeth and tongue and salivary glands. What is the function of salivary glands? It secretes saliva. So it converts starch into sugar. Next, nutrition in human beings. First, esophagus. In that, very important point is peristaltic movement. That means contraction and expansion of muscles of the esophagus. In the stomach, there is a acid that is called HCl and gastric juice, and there is some types of enzymes, that is pepsin. It breaks down proteins, and HCl it makes medium acidic and kills bacteria, and mucus it protects inner lining of stomach from the HCl. Next, small intestine. In the small intestine, there is different types of enzymes. Carbohydrates it converts glucose, fats, fatty acids and glycerol. Proteins converts amino acids. In that, absorption. Which one is F for absorption? S. That is finger-like projection, that is called villi. In the small intestine, so it receives secretion from liver, it produces bile. Pancreas, it produces pancreatic juice, and intestinal glands, it produces intestinal juice. Okay, this is also very important. So, this is a screenshot. Next, large intestine. So, unobserved food is sent into the large intestine. So, its wall absorbs more water from this material. The rest of the material is removed from body, the anus. The exits of this waste material is regulated by the anal. Okay. Next one, respiration. So you already learned what is the meaning of respiration. In that there is two types of process. One is the aerobic, another one anaerobic. Some organisms use oxygen to break down glucose. It is aerobic. Some other organisms do this in the absence of oxygen, that is called anaerobic. This chart is very important. Okay. In the types of respiration, there is aerobic and anaerobic. Okay, ಇದು ಸಹ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. Okay, passage of air through the respiratory system. So first in nasal nostrils, then nasal passage, then to nasal cavity, then enter into pharynx, pharynx to larynx, then trachea and bronchi and bronchioles and alveoli. ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನು ನೀವು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬರೆದಾಗ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಲೇಬಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ರೀತಿಂಗ್. There is two method. One is the inhalation and exhalation. See, diagram observe ಮಾಡಿ. Inhalation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, diaphragm contracts. Okay. Exhalation ಅಲ್ಲಿ diaphragms relax. So in the thoracic cavity expands, ribs lift up. Diaphragm become flat in shape. Volume of lungs increases and air enters the lungs. In exhalation, thoracic cavity contracts, so ribs move downwards, diaphragm becomes dome shape, volume of lungs decreases and exits from the lungs. Fishes versus birds. ಹೇಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೋ compared to the free oxygen in the air. So the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than terrestrial organism. This is very important. Last time ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. The rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than terrestrial organism. Give reason ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay. The amount of dissolved oxygen in water is low. Okay. So that the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is faster. Okay, next respiration in plants. So respiration, that means exchange of gases. It occurs in stomata, okay, lenticles in stem and general surface of the root. Okay, next process very important, transportation. So in transportation in human beings, so it consists three types. One is the heart, arteries and veins, blood and lymph. Let us see one by one. First, heart. ಓಕೆ ನೋಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಓಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ತಿ ಬರೆದು ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಬರಿಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದೇ ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದೇ ಥರ ಬರೆದಿರಬೇಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮು. Okay, in the heart what happens? The carbon dioxide rich blood has to reach the lungs for the carbon dioxide to be removed. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಸೊ ಲಂಗ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ವಿಯೋಲೈ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡು, ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫೈ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. The oxygenated blood from the lungs has to be brought back to the heart. This oxygen rich blood is then pumped to the rest of the body. ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫೈ ಆಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡು ಹಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಅದು ಪಂಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. In that there is two types of circulation. One is the pulmonary, another one systemic circulation. So what is the differences between pulmonary and systematic? In the pulmonary what happens? Blood moves from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. Okay, the blood moves from the heart to the lungs. But in the systematic circulation, blood moves from the heart to rest of the body and back to the heart. Okay, this is very important. This is the blood circulation, double blood circulation. Okay, ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬ್ಲೂ ಕಲರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಹಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಕಲರ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸಿಂದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಲಂಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ವಾಪಸ್ ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ರೆಡ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. This is the double circulation. Okay, why is double circulation needed? Because the separation of the right side and the left side of the heart is useful to keep oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from mixing. In between the right and left there is a muscle that is called septa. Okay, a septum ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ it separates oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is helpful for animals which requires high energy to maintain their body temperature, like amphibians and mammals can tolerate some mixing. But in the fishes what happens? On the other hand, have only two chambers to their heart, and the blood is pumped to the gills, is oxygenated there and passes directly to the rest of the body. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗಿಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಪಂಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಆಗೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಸರ್ತಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೂ ಚೇಂಬರ್. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್? ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫೋರ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ blood. See, but in mammals and birds it have four chambers. The blood will not mix up at all. It goes through the heart twice during each cycle. This is known as the double circulation. So understood? Heart and blood circulation. So the diagram is very important. So human heart have four chamber. Okay, let us see next one, arteries and veins. These are the blood vessels. So arteries, blood emerges from the heart under high pressure. The arteries have thick elastic wall. Okay, ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ arteries. And reaching an oxygen or tissue, the artery divides into smaller and smaller vessels to bring the blood in contact with all the individual cells. ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಅದು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, second one, capillaries. The smallest vessels have walls which are no one cell thick and are called capillaries. Exchange of materials takes place across this thin wall. It also connects arteries and veins. ಎರಡೂ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಆರ್ಟರೀಸೇ ಬೇರೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ವೇನ್ಸೇ ಬೇರೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಕೆಪಿಲರೀಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೇನ್ಸ್. Veins collect blood from different organs and bring it back to the heart. Okay, they do not need thick walls because the blood is no longer under pressure. They have valves that ensure that the blood flows only in one direction. Next one, blood. Heart is over, blood vessels is also over. The next one is blood. So blood, it is a fluid connective tissue which have some solid components, that is RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC carries oxygen and carbon dioxide. WBC produces antibodies, platelets, and it helps for blood clotting. Okay, the function is there. This is also very important. Liquid components, that is called plasma. Okay, next one, lymph. It is also one type of blood, liquid tissue, but it is white in color because absence of RBC. It also transport proteins and some blood cells. See, it is colorless and it contains less proteins. And lymph drains into lymphatic capillaries. Capillaries join to form large lymph vessels that finally open into larger veins. It also have own vessels, that is called lymph vessels. Lymph carries digested and absorbed fat from intestine and drains excess fluid from extracellular space back into the blood. Next, transportation in plant. Very important. There is two types of tissue, that is xylem and phloem. So xylem, it carries water and minerals from the roots to other parts of the plant. Okay, and phloem, it carries prepared food from leaves to the other parts of the plant. Okay, there is two types of tissue. One is the xylem and phloem. It helps for transportation in plants. Okay, next one, excretion. So okay, the ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ, ಅದೊಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಹಾಗೆ.
You can feel your heart thudding away every time you put your hand to your chest.
ನಮ್ಮ ಹಾರ್ಟ್
But do you have any idea what's really going on in there, or what keeps your heart ticking as it should? Every day, your heart beats about 100,000 times, sending 2,000 gallons of blood surging through your body. Although it's no bigger than your fist, your heart has the mighty job of keeping the blood flowing through 60,000 miles of blood vessels that feed your organs and tissues.
Carbon dioxide present in blood. Red indicates
food, water, and oxygen are essential for the existence of human life. Blood transports all these substances through various channels called blood vessels. Blood vessels involves arteries.
Red color, that is arteries.
Veins.
These are the veins.
Capillaries. To keep the blood flowing throughout our body, we have a pumping system, and the heart is the pump, which is composed of muscle that pumps blood throughout the body, beating approximately 72 times per minute of our lives.
Okay,
the human heart has 4 chambers.
4 chambers, okay.
The right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. There are 4 valves in the heart. These valves are tricuspid valve, mitral valve, aortic valve, pulmonic valve.
Okay, students, see the valves. So, what is the main function of these valves? It avoid backward flow of blood. Okay, ಈಗ ಆರ್ಟರೀಸಿಂದ ಅಯೋಟಯಿಂದ ವೆಂಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಆಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ವ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ವ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ.
These valves are one-way valves. Now, you have seen the structure of the heart. Let us find out how it works. The blood becomes oxygen-rich by absorbing oxygen in the lungs. The function of the heart starts when oxygenated blood is carried from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart by means of the pulmonary veins. The left atrium relaxes. This blood is pumped into the heart. When the left atrium contracts, the left ventricle relaxes simultaneously. The left atrium pushes the blood into the left ventricle through the one-way valve. When the left ventricle contracts, the blood is pumped into the aorta, which carries oxygenated blood to the different parts of the body, except the lungs. Oxygenated blood reaches the different parts of the body through the blood vessels called the arteries. The arteries gets branched into capillaries, which then reaches to the different organs of the body. The blood then becomes deoxygenated, and the blood capillaries gets mixed and form thicker blood vessels called the veins. The veins carry deoxygenated blood to the heart. The blood vessels that carry deoxygenated blood to heart are known as the vena cava. The deoxygenated blood from different parts of body enters the upper right chamber of the heart, which is called the right atrium. The right atrium gets contracted, allowing the blood to flow into the right ventricle, which contracts with the expansion of the right atrium through the one-way valve. The right ventricle then contracts, pushing the blood into the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. The lungs oxygenate the blood by exchanging of gases and flows back into the heart through the pulmonary vein. And starts the circulatory cycle all over again.
ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟಾಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ಥರ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಬಟ್ ಕಲರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕಲರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಿಂಪಲಾಗಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಇಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಕಿಡ್ನಿ and uterus and urinary bladder and urethra. So kidneys function is excretory organ, and uterus it ducts which drain out urine from the kidney, and urinary bladder it urinary reservoir, and urethra the channel to the excretor. Okay, so formation of urine and nephron diagram ನೋಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಅದು ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡಿ ತುಂಬ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ನೀವು ಇದೊಂದು ಫೋಟೋ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇದೇ ಥರ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬರೀರಿ. Okay, so renal artery it brings oxygenated blood to the kidney. So along with the nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid and many other substances. These are the nitrogenous wastes. Okay, urinal ಏನೇನಿರುತ್ತೆ nitrogenous wastes ಅಂದು. Then the blood gets filtered through the glomerulus and this filtrate enters the tubular part of nephron. Nephron ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ it filter through all nitrogenous wastes from blood. At this filtrate moves down the tubular part, that is glucose, ammonia acid, salt and excess of water gets selectively reabsorbed by the blood vessels surrounding these tubules. So the fluid now flowing in the tubular part is urine which gets collected in collected duct of nephron, then nephron to kidney to then collective urinary bladder, then it's stored until the pressure and expanded bladder leads to the pass it out through urethra. Okay, important fact is that is dialysis. It is artificial excretory system. Okay, next excretion in plants. This points is very important. Just ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟರಿ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟೆಡ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ. They can get rid of excess water by transpiration. Next, many plants waste products are stored in cellular vacuoles also. Then waste products may be stored in leaves that fall off. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಲೀಫಲ್ಲೇ ತನ್ನ ಫುಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವೇಸ್ಟಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಲೀಫೇ ಫಾಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದರ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ರಿಸೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಮ್ಸ್. ಹಂಟಂಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಮರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್. Then a plant also excretes some waste substance into the soil around them. Okay, excretory system ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಅದೊಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡೋಣ.
Removal of harmful metabolic wastes from the body is called excretion. As in other processes like nutrition, respiration, transportation, different organisms use different strategies to do excretion. In case of unicellular organisms, wastes are removed from body surface into the surrounding water by the process called diffusion. But in case of multicellular organisms, specialized organs are evolved to perform excretion. Excretion in human beings. The chief organ that is involved in excretion is kidneys. The excretory system of human beings consists of 1. A pair of kidneys, right kidney and left kidney. 2. A pair of ureters, right ureter and left ureter. 3. A urinary bladder. 4. A urethra. Kidneys are located in the abdomen on either side of the backbone. Kidney is a basic filtration unit. It consists of very thin-walled blood capillaries. Each capillary cluster is associated with cup-shaped end of a tube that collects filtered urine. Each kidney has large number of filtration units called nephrons packed close together. The waste products are nitrogenous wastes that are collected from the blood in the form of urine. The produced urine passes through ureters into urinary bladder. The urine is stored in the urinary bladder and the urine is released to outside through urethra. Now, let us learn how urine is produced. The process of urine formation takes place in 3 steps. 1. Filtration. 2. Reabsorption. 3. Secretion. Filtration. The nitrogenous wastes, such as urea, uric acid, are removed from blood in the kidneys. The process of urine formation takes place in nephron. Reabsorption. Some substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and major water, which are filtered along with nitrogenous waste, are reabsorbed. The amount of water reabsorbed depends on excess water and dissolved waste along with wastes. Secretion. Reabsorbed components of wastes are secreted into the blood when the urine flows through the tubular part of nephron in the kidney. Mechanism of urination. The urine formed in kidney enters into a lung tube called ureter. The one end of the ureter is connected to kidney and the other end is connected to urinary bladder. Urine is stored in the urinary bladder until the pressure of urinary bladder leads to urge to pass urine. When it reaches the pressure to urge to pass it, urine passes out through urethra. How can we hold urine until it reaches to the urge to pass urine? As the urinary bladder is muscular and it is under the control of nervous system, we can usually control to urge to urinate. The process of passing out urine is called as urination.
ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್. ಸೊ ಆಗಲೇ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಸಹ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕೇನು ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಸನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರಲ್ಲಾಗಿ. ಓಕೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.